being having recorded 3 more albums for Interscope. Basically, Tupac probably should have only recorded around 40 songs. You know what I mean? When you deal with a 3-album situation, but he recorded upwards of 150 songs, if you will. So from that perspective, that just goes to show you that he was in a different mindset. And I'm going to tell you the reason and the facts behind that mindset. When Tupac left prison, before Tupac came to death row, right? What people don't understand is they didn't know whether Tupac was going to agree to be under the same umbrella when, you know, Interscope being the distributor of Death Row, right? So it all worked hand in hand. So they weren't sure whether Tupac was going to agree to come and record under the Death Row banner, right? So what they did was, you know, to see if he would do that, when they went to see him in prison, they needed confirmation of what he was going to do. And so when they went to the prison, they needed that information, but they needed him to agree to, hey, you know, we would do that. So this piece of paper right here, this is the copy of the original document that he signed, which should basically stating all of the things, the conditions that would then be entered into a contract, if you will, right? And so by him signing this, now it's confirmation, okay, cool, he's agreed to do it, right? So when you deal with that fact, that's fact number 1. So now we have confirmation from Tupac as to, yeah, he agrees to it. But once he agrees to it, all of the things that he agreed to in that agreement, basically, it didn't happen. But there was one clause in there that was very, very important that Tupac believed in his heart would happen. And it basically says that Suge Knight would basically, and I'm paraphrasing, Suge Knight would basically have a contract set up with Death Row Records for Tupac to sign. And that agreement contained some of those elements, right? But once that was done, then the real paperwork began. And this is what I tried to explain to everybody, right? So no matter who wanted Tupac out of jail or who they say, you know, at that time got Tupac out of jail, we know the facts behind that, and I'm gonna get into that just a teeny bit, just to show you and your viewers. So, okay, so now the real paperwork happens. This is on that paperwork right here. This agreement right here is on September 15th. So after that happens, they say, okay, he agrees to it. So now the money that they use, or the money that they added up to get Tupac out of jail, came from Me Against the World. Remember, Me Against the World was number 1 while he was in prison. Beat out Bruce Springsteen in the whole 9 yards, right? So they calculated, it's a calculated move. So they calculated that, they said, okay, cool. You know, the bail is, you know, 1.4, whatever. And remember, when Tupac was trying to get out of jail, first, he was denied bail. So most people ask the question as to, well, why didn't Interscope just, you know, get him out? You know what I mean? He was denied bail. He had to appeal that situation in order to get out of jail, right? And so once they found out that, you know, they won the appeal, he could now get out because they didn't want him to get out of jail, actually. So now the real paperwork comes in. And so when they come and they send David Kenner back to it, and see, you're gonna see how, what I'm gonna show you right now, how the paperwork changed when it came time once he agreed to that initial situation. So in the second time, when they went back to see him, so they came back and they had this paperwork right here. See how it changed? See, this is that legal and binding thing.
Right.
Right. This is the stuff that when you handle your business and...
My name is Bashan Mann. I live in Washington, D.C. Welcome to Man-Made Dreams 2. Well, my boating history is just steeped in my family. So when I say I was born on the river, I was born on the river, the Hudson River. Going back to my grandfather, Albert Ralph Mann, he was a carpenter by trade, and he actually built his boats.
If you don't get the fuck out of my face!
One of the most important things when owning a boat...
Dude, seriously, man, I'm not worried about owning a boat.
Ralph Mann was a carpenter by trade.
You're fucking stupid. Just go away.
Somewhere on that table, on that chair, whatever it was, he would write man-made. So when it came time for my father to actually name his boats, he said man-made dreams, because this right here is a dream that my grandfather had. Just all of us being out on the water enjoying ourselves.
Until
So one of the options
you end up
with regard to
in a
finance
wheelchair.
It's a little different than buying a car. And what I mean by that is you can actually finance a boat 15, 20, 25, maybe even
What
30 years.
the hell?
It kind of depends what the lender is going to offer you. A lot of people think, oh my God, a boat. There's no way I'll be able to afford a boat. Actually, if you do your homework, you'll see whether that's a brand new boat or a used boat, you can actually get some really good financing options and space it out over a longer period of time. So when you're making the distinction between getting a boat from a boat show or a dealer, I wouldn't necessarily look at it as a one or the other. I know plenty of people, again, that go to the boat show, see the different models from different manufacturers, and then go to a specific dealer to get that boat that you want. You just want to be as knowledgeable as possible about the boat that you're going to buy.
I'm gonna really hurt
Boat
you.
rentals, they're popping up all over the nation, right? I think it's a great thing, especially if you're a first timer.
Yep.
You want to actually get into a boat and see and feel how it's going to be. Boat rentals is great. You can go take your boat out, you know that it's well maintained, go out, have a good time, bring it on back, and then just go out again whenever you like. When people are talking about how they want to look when they're out here on the boat, for myself, I try to keep it as laid back as possible.
You can
Pull a little
definitely
t-shirt,
do
pair
that.
of shorts, I'm good to go. You know, when people get on boats, everything sort of changes. It just kind of depends on how nautical you want to be, right? So, some of the basics. It's not left and right. It's port and starboard. Bow and stern. Not front and back. No forward, no aft. Know that you're down in the galley. Know that you're sitting here at the helm.
Nope.
Little things like that.
Little things.
Some people have a bit of anxiety about coming out on a boat for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly understandable. What a good captain will do for his guest is, point out certain safety things. Where are the Coast Guard certified life jackets? Where is the safe place to be seated? And also, some people worry about the motion of the boat. Some people have what's called motion sickness, right? And a good captain is going to make sure that he or she is not going to take the boat out when you're in wet seas. But right now, we're not trying to get out. And we're just sitting here. It's relatively calm. You can sit here and enjoy the view. And just have a good time. One thing is getting in the boat and figuring out whether or not you want a captain's license. There's something that's called a tip pass when you get your master's after that. So if you want to get into just having your basic captain's license, you can go online, it's certified by the United States Coast Guard, it's well worth your time. When it comes to storing your boat in the winter, if you can find an indoor storage facility, that's top notch. Listen, not everybody can have that access. So, if you keep your boat in the water, you can shrink wrap a boat in the water, or if you put it on
This
land,
boy will be
shrink
in the
wrap it on
hospital
land. You've got several options.
in about 3 months.
So here are my
I
top
promise
boat
you.
maintenance tips.
He's
Whenever
gonna
you get on
be
your
in the
boat,
hospital.
Always open up your engine compartment and check to make sure that your bilge is dry.
Yep.
What does that mean?